All right, let's do some more octagon footwork drills. Footwork is a great thing that you can work on at home, so this is the perfect time to do it. We're going to do octagon footwork with a stick, doing umbrella blocks and umbrella parries. So if the stick is in our right hand and we're moving to the left, an umbrella block can either be, well, an umbrella block would be here, or an umbrella parry would be here. So we can practice both. If we're moving to the opposite side, the same side as the stick, then an umbrella block is straight up, tipped down, making sure that you saddle back your hand. So let's start the octagon footwork. Forward, backward, left, right, and then your 4 diagonals. Let's move forward first. Umbrella blocks. Forward, go. And straight. And back. And left. And half left front. And half back right. Actually, let's go half back left next. So we're here, step back. Nice. You'll notice on the octagon footworks where we have a weapon in our hand, or we're striking or blocking, it's easier if you start neutral rather than bladed, just so the footwork is a little less confusing. So let's say we're going to the right, and we're blocking on this half of our body. Make sure you saddle back that wrist to start. So we're here. Okay. Now we can do the same thing going forward and backward still. And backward. And then your half right front diagonal, same idea. And your half back left would be. Okay, always moving for this shuffle step, always taking the closest foot in the direction you're traveling. Now you want to do all that with your left. So if we're moving straight forward, we can do umbrella, block, check, strike, or straight back. Pretty straightforward. Left is also straightforward, no pun intended. And half left right, and half left back. So now when you're going to the opposite side of the stick, that's when you're either going to do the block or the parry. Okay, so let's start with the parry. And then half front right, and half back right. Now, let's put it back in the right to practice those umbrella blocks, where we're shielding from our attacker. So if we are moving away from the stick, and we want to block, then we're going to roll it over and bring it straight up like an uppercut. That allows us to hide behind it. It is a block, so we have to turn our hips. Okay? So we're moving left with the stick in our right hand. Block, check, strike. You can still move forward and back if you step with that left and turn away. Block, check, strike. And backwards would be block, check, strike. Then your diagonals should feel pretty good on this one. And then diagonal back. Let's try the umbrella block in our left hand, which means we're moving to the right to do this block. If we're going to the left, we saddle back. Going to the right, we shield. Okay, so moving straight to the right, block, make sure your hip is angled away, check, strike. We can do this going forward still, and backwards. Now going your diagonals. So with the saddleback wrist. Umbrella parries to the same side as the attack. And umbrella blocks like a shield to the same side of the attack, going all the different directions with the stick in your right hand and with the stick in your left. Good luck, and that's your octagon drills for today. All right, next for weapons, we're going to do the 10 angles of attack with footwork. So just like the 12 strikes with footwork, we're going to vary the different ways that we practice this. Keep in mind we're doing 10 angles of attack, not 12 strikes. So we're going to start with the stick in our right hand, our right foot stepping. We're going to do a downward diagonal, backhand downward diagonal, poke, slap, abanico, diagonal, backhand diagonal, abanico, abanico, downward strike. Those are our 10 strikes with footwork. I'm going to do it again without talking. Hajime. Did you get all that? It's got some interesting footwork on that. Let's detail that just a little bit. So you're going to step, swing, 1, 2, 3. Are pretty easy. Now to do the abanico, we're going to do a cross step. And then we kind of untwist. From here, our upper diagonals are fairly simple. Just make sure you're lining up the bladed edge of that strike. Now once again, we do a crossover step for that abanico, and then untwist. And then number 10 is pretty straightforward. One more time, and then we'll switch up the combination. 10 angles of attack, sticks in the right hand, right foot steps. Hajime. How'd you do on that one? Let's try it. Stick in the left hand, left foot steps forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again. Not bad for the left. If the left feels rougher than the right, do it twice as many times. At any point in these videos that you want to practice something more, please feel free to pause the video and keep practicing getting those repetitions in. This is merely a guide to help you remember things to practice. All right, next let's try it. Stick in the right hand, left foot steps. So this is your diagonal strike, poke, abanico, abanico, upward, upward, abanico, abanico, strike. It's actually a little bit easier footwork-wise if you're going opposite hand, opposite foot to start. So let's try that one. Right hand, left foot steps. Hajime. Last combination for this one. Sticks in the left hand, right foot starts. downward, poke, abanico, abanico, upward diagonal, abanico, abanico, downward. Ah! Let's do that one again. Right foot steps. Just like with the 12 strikes, we can do the 10 angles of attack with shifting also. So one foot's in front of the other, and we can do forward weighted, backward weighted, forward weighted, backward weighted, all the way through the angles of attack. And you can do that on both sides, of course. Forward, backward, forward, backward. And you can do it in reverse. So instead of starting forward weighted, which is most natural for most of us, you can start backward weighted. Okay? And start backward weighted left side. So that's a lot that you can work on now that you're at home and you have tons of free time to work on training and getting better with your stick skills. Alright, next for weapons, we're going to practice with a knife. If you have a training knife, that's perfect. If not, I don't recommend using a kitchen knife. Perhaps a plastic knife or something that if you drop it or don't have good eye or maybe perfect body language, you're not going to injure yourself. Rubber knives are great for that. We're going to do the 10 angles of attack with a knife. So for this, we want to make sure that we're always slicing and that we have the blade indexed correctly. We want to always reach out with the knife and pull it back towards us to accomplish that slicing motion, just like if we had any kind of bladed weapon. So 10 angles of attack are going to be the diagonal, 1, backhand diagonal, 2, stab, 3, then you're going to slap with the flat part of the knife for 4, and again for 5. You're going to come up for 6, and up for 7. You're slapping with the flat part of the blade again on 8 and 9, and then we're coming down either with the butt of the knife or with a slice for number 10. Okay, let's practice with the butt of the knife. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, let's do that in Japanese. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. Excellent. Practice that a few times, and we're going to do the left. So for the left, it's the exact same thing, although it probably won't feel the same. So practice the left as many times as you need to get a feeling as good as the right. 10 strikes, 10 angles of attacks. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. One more time, on the left. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. Great job. Keep practicing that. The more you work with the knife, the more comfortable you'll get with it, and the more it will flow. Just make sure that it's always indexed correctly. The blade is always facing your opponent, and you're always pulling. You want that pulling motion in order to slice correctly. Alright, next we're going to work on crescent parries with a knife. So we are receiving an attack and we have a knife in our right hand. For this one, it's going to take a little imagination. If you have a loved one who's willing to stick their arm out for you, and you can practice just on an arm, that's great. I know this is obvious, but just make sure the knife isn't sharp. Okay, so let's do a crescent parry. Let's say the attack comes to this side of my body. I'm going to slice, receive the attack, flip the tip back so I don't cut my own arm, check the elbow, and then slice. So 1, 2, 3. Really reaching out and moving up the body. Let's do that a few more times. Notice that when you do that first one, if you just bring your arm up, you're going to cut your own arm. So make sure when you check or slice that you flip the tip back so that the false edge, the part of the knife that's not sharp, is not going to cut you when you reach around to check that elbow. One more time. Excellent. Let's switch to the other side. So an attack's coming in this side, which means you're going to receive it with your front, if you hide the target, it's going to be your new front hand. So you receive it, pay attention to where the blade of the knife is as you check, and then strike. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure you get those hip rotations in so that you're never in danger with the blade of the knife. One more. Alright, if that doesn't feel comfortable yet, feel free to pause this and work on that until it's nice and smooth. If you have a partner, even better. They don't even have to know martial arts, they can just hold their arm out and you can practice on them. It makes it a little easier than trying to imagine your partner. But either way, practice your crescent parries with a knife in the right hand. Now let's switch to the left hand. It's exactly the same, of course. We're going to imagine the attacks coming in on this side first. So we hide the target, slice, tip comes back, check the elbow, and then slice again. Okay? So hide the target, slice, check, slice. Slice, check, slice. Really paying attention to keep the sharp part of the blade away from you at all times. Again. Alright, let's keep in our left hand, but imagine the attacks coming in on the opposite shoulder. So for this one, when we hide the target, this is our closest hand. So it's going to check first, then we're going to slice, then we're going to strike or grab. So it's hide the target, check, slice, strike. Check, slice, strike. Check, slice, strike. One more. All right. As I said before, feel free to pause this and keep working on those skills over and over as much as it takes for you to feel comfortable with this. Now that you have a little extra time to practice, let's make good use of that time. Alright, next we're really going to test your imagining skills, unless you can find that partner who's willing to just hang their arm out there for you. So we're imagining an attack comes in to our right shoulder, but we're going to do a split defense. So first, let's review shifting forward and backward. So if you're in a good mobile stance, all it takes to shift your weight forward to attack or backward to defend is pumping your heels. So we're going to work on that with this split defense. So right now I'm right foot forward, right hand with the knife. The knife is in the right hand. And my weight is forward. So when the attack comes in, I'm going to shift my weight back and have a split defense, meaning the knife hand will be on the inside of the attacker, in front of the attacker, and my empty hand will be on the outside or the back side of the attacker. When the attack comes in, I simply shift my weight back, I slice with my knife and pass the arm with my empty hand. Then I can pass the elbow and slice and strike. Okay? Strike. Forward weighted, shift, slice, pass, strike. Notice I shift back to the front as I pass and I come in to attack. So defensive, offensive, defensive, offensive. Okay, go ahead and work on that shifting back and forth by pumping your heels and see if you can get the feel of the split defense. All right, let's try the left side. So now our left foot's in front, we're still going to shift our weight by pumping those heels. We start forward weighted so that we're enticing that attack, or that's what entices the attack. When it comes in, we pump our heels to do a back weighted stance. We have a diagonal slice coming down, and this hand guards. Then as we pass it, we pump our feet forward to slice and strike. Okay, it's hard to break it down, but let's go for it. One more. There we go. Make sure that you keep working on this, keep working on the little details, especially the shifting your stance until it feels really good. Then the split defense should feel a little odd because they're going opposite directions as you slice. You're going to pass, strike, strike. Okay, or strike, grab, whatever the situation might be. So work on that and see if you can get better at split defenses on both sides. Alright, next, let's practice a little Spadayadaga. There's not much we can do solo, but if you use your imagination, or if you have someone who lives with you who's willing to at least stick an arm out for you, then you can practice this. Let's imagine someone decides to attack you despite the fact that you're holding two weapons. We're going to do a crescent parry with a stick and a knife. So he pushes with his right hand, and he can just hold his hand out there for you. If it's he can just hold his hand out there for you if it's someone who's not trained in weapons, right? So we're going to block the attack. It could be a knife, it could be a stick, it could be a punch. Okay? We're going to block it with our stick, reach across, with the knife and strike with the puño. Now, if you do a disengaging step, here, you could also hit with the stick rather than the puño. You can hit with the end of the stick. So, once again, 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, I just want to give you an image of what we're going to practice next. For this one, we're imagining the attack's coming in on this side. So we're going to hide the target, block, reach and slice, and then strike. Block, slice, strike. Block, slice, strike. 1, 2, 3. Hip rotations really help keep that knife away from you. 1, 2, 3. Alright, now let's try with that disengaging final strike. You can do an abanico. You could do an angle 1. Really, whatever feels most comfortable to you, because in the situation, obviously, you're going to be reacting to their position compared to with your position. Okay, let's try one more. And switch sides. So hide the target, block, check, strike. Block, check, strike. Slice, hit. Block, slice, hit. And like before, if you want to shift your weight back, you can strike with the tip. Block, slice, strike. And don't forget those hip rotations. 1, 2, 3. Let's try that one more time. And as with all of these, feel free to pause this video and work on that over and over again until it feels comfortable with you on both sides. Work on the knife flow drill. You can work on it solo, that way you can practice being the bad guy. Or just practice really good stabs and slices for if you ever had to defend yourself with a knife. So we're gonna poke, drop the elbow, slice. Poke, drop the elbow, slice. All right, let's try the other hand. Poke, slice, poke, slice, poke, slice. it feel super awkward since it's the left? If it does, do it twice as long as the right. Make sure you're indexing the blade correctly as you go to slice. Great job. Keep practicing that. One way to get really good at the weaving drill with slices is to use two knives. Maybe not two sharp knives. These are nice and dull. But two knives will help with this. So if you have training knives, that's great. Or, butter knives, plastic knives, whatever you have lying around the house. We're going to start with our closed position. Poke, slice, slice, slice. Poke, slice, slice, slice. Always making sure the correct part of the blade is slicing each time. Give that a whirl. All right, welcome back. The next activity we're going to do is another partner drill where your partner only has to whack you upside the head. So nice and simple. For the first one, your partner's going to hit you upside the head and you're going to do a cross parry. So hide the target and block with the opposite hand. The hand that's closest to your attacker blocks. So in slow motion, it comes in, he's aiming for this side of my body, so I hide the target. And this hand is now closest to his body, so that's my blocking hand. Again. The easiest thing for this is a cat stance. So you hide the target nice and quickly. If you try to step out of the way, it's slow, you're off center, and now you've given him the opportunity to strike. Okay? So instead we just shift and hide the target. Shift and hide the target. You might want to tell your attacker not to hit too hard, because when you get good at this, it's going to start hurting their arm. So just nice and soft, try to whack your partner, and try to practice cross parries. All right, go practice that. Next, we are going to put that together into what looks like the knife flow drill, if you're familiar with weapons training. To do this, your partner is going to attack you, both sides of the head again, but with one arm. And this one, I want to maintain contact until the other one comes up. That way I'm always protected, and my guard hand stays up as well. All right, practice the knife flow drill, empty hand.
Sensei, please. Let's keep it real upright, polite, slow, and big. So I get a slash, and I want you guys more than for now. Hold your ground. So don't push me. Right. So if he freezes, he cuts. I pass. Freeze, cut, pass. Simple as that. We're not going to use footwork here, right? If I block, he clears. I clear, right? And what that is, what happens there is an arm break instantly, right? If it's on the backhand, he clears up underneath, please. Up underneath, yeah. I'm sorry, like this and say. And he comes back. So one more time. He comes back here. That's an arm break. And how those happen is, go ahead. This disappears and this comes like this. What you have a tendency to do is this, and that gets you jammed. And when you're talking, you get jammed too. One, so there's the arm break. Right? In the drill, one, clear, please. Two, so right, bam, and I'll be ready to block if you came in. That distance, not this distance. Okay. Clear. No. Okay. But anyway, if we can work each one of these pieces individually, we'll turn it into a drill, and then we'll go back to the stick, and you'll see it'll change. Okay. Just all you're doing is this. If he clears here, you clear, stab, back into the drill. Okay, that's just that for now. Just any blocks? Don't use your hand on the arm. There's lots of reasons not to. Small motor movement degrades, fingers get broken, and you miss. This is the way to clear that. The other reason is when I use my forearm, I still have my hand to use. When I do this, I'm done. Okay? So, one, and then here's my clear. Knife comes back here, and now you're looking for a target. And this is not a place to pick because I didn't grab. Right. So ideally, what will happen is, the second he starts to see me do this, this hand drops down to that hollow. Okay? And that's where it gets cleared, and that hand's already ready. Right. That's the platform, and it's the most economical way of moving. Okay? So we say 1, 2. Now if he comes over the top, he gets tied up for a period of time. So do that again, since I come over the top and pick that. His hands are tied up. So if he does that, come over the top. Yeah. See what happens. That's why when I haven't commit, I can also do this, right? If I do this, now pick it. But you can feel that. You can feel that. See, when I go to grab that, it's going to go, you'll see this up here and you'll see that go down and your hand's ready to pick. But if you see me do this, keep it underneath. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. All right? It just kind of floats there. You can go either place, right? Okay. Karate movements don't work. Right? This is never the answer. If this hand comes up because you see a flash of light and it's instinctive, it's, oh crap. The second this touches, that one comes right in. Not like that, but in cut time. Because even if I go, oh shoot, see? By then it's already. This has tendency to come up, that's okay. But right away, that hand comes in. The other thing is, ideally, slow motion, this comes up like you're going to scratch your head, and then it hooks when it hits. It doesn't come up like this because it's 20 motion with the shoulder, right? So you say, oh shoot, oh, then you turn the hand. Now, you need to keep it hooked. You need to keep this motion until it passes his minor center. Once it does, this hand rolls, and this one comes in. That's ideal. Okay? I know you have a tendency to learn it like this. Yeah, that's just baby steps. 1, 2, 3. And you need to press it, especially if you're doing Irimi. So let's say I'm here, cut, especially if I'm coming back in on him. If I want to move Tenkan and just keep moving backwards, that's one thing. Either one of those protects your legs. But especially if you're holding your ground, shove that right into him when with your hand. Okay? Those. Start. Yeah, get pushed, right? Here's what the average person does. And then they get cut on the next one. You guys, one, he pushes. Look where this hand goes, all the way over here. So now as he continues to push. Now that ends the drill. So to keep the drill going, I can push, I can be about here, wait, he strikes again, and we're back in the drill. But normally what happens there is 1, 2, it's over, right? Okay. Okay. Gotta really be soft with that. Any tension in your shoulders, any posts, it wrecks it. Okay. And you see, watch where this hand goes. Here. But a lot of times people practice these lazy and they do this. It's off their major center. And that's why your hand gets jammed when you do these drills. So this is here. See how it's all the way over here. So when you push, comes right out of that drill. Right? Okay. When you practice those, the redundas, make sure it's really over on that minor center. That's what makes this stuff so devious and cool. His hand's just sneaking all the way around here and flanking him. Okay. So this is upright and polite. I'm not down like this in combat mode. I just want you to work on the arms being smooth, period. So as long as you meet this at the right angle, it's fine. He checks. 2, 3. Check underneath. Right. Come back either with the butt or a hook with the tip, either way. So this is aiming for throat or brachial plexus or something like that. Okay. This one you have to break the law for a second. This hand comes up first. This immediately takes its place. So then the drill is check, 2, 3, 4, 5, cut. And we're right back to the first one. Let's just do this one Ichikami style. Up underneath. Now even if he holds on that bottom hand and comes back, hold tight, it's not going to matter because it breaks against his own arm, right? Okay. Do that smooth as a drill. I'm going to demonstrate one more time the speed. So give me a 1. Go a little slow. See where that always is? Okay, just like that. Don't go faster. Relax your shoulders. Use your forearms, not your hands. Okay. He slaps over here first. He goes to push, and you do this. See what you just did yourself? That rotation doesn't belong there. Here, angle stays exactly the same. Okay. You put that in there every single time. You're gonna crush your arms into your major center, which is exactly where he was trying to get, but you did it yourself, right? After. Okay, that's the feeling. I don't have time to rotate, right? Okay. Use our hands. So let's say I'm getting gutted, right? That works, right? But I could have jammed my thumb. I could have missed. Right? So the best thing to do is, if you're going to use that hand, use it in a monkey paw. Don't use your thumb. And then instantly add another shield. So this can be done lots of different ways. I can say 1, 2, move right back into that. This is slow motion. If you're going to, but watch what happens when I use my thumb. It would be much better if I had done this, and then I move right back into that, right? I can do this, and have this, right? I can do this if I'm, I can move right back into that and then roll it. So here I've got my hand on a hip, scratching my head, right? There's the movement. So it's always somehow trying to get, there's a saying in the system, if you don't like the attack, change it. So I like 2s, right? So got me. See? I like tube. You move it into a tube. Let's think of it that way. But I don't want you to do this anymore. That kind of stuff. Okay? Not for today anyway. All right, doesn't. When he clears, if you rotate this way, if you shift, if you rotate this way, you're dead. Okay? Automatically, watch. So I go like this and I go like this. We just see how I got crossed up? I do this. See how I got crossed up? Okay? From here, nothing happens. Push that arm. Now, if you want to rotate, shift, whatever you want to do is fine. But this looks 1, 2. This hasn't done any of that. My feet haven't moved. You don't have time for that. That's what's happening. 1, 2, 3 is it's already right. Now he could beat that if he doesn't rotate. Watch. Now you rotate. See? Almost. Nothing changes. Look, he's already there. You can beat that easily. Second you do that, then you don't beat it. Okay.
So you're basically replacing this as the point. Right? So that disappears or replace it?
Yeah, look. Now who's in charge? Now rotate. Now who's in charge? See the difference? Okay.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
No.
So I have this in my mind so I can understand when I'm training at home and I'm working this.
Sure.
Is that the reason that we don't have the time is that the distance and timing is wrong and he's seeing our angle and we don't have time to...
You're flanking yourself mainly.
Okay.
Yeah, the second, here, when he rotates, he flanked himself.
Right.
See? The other reason is rotating takes time. He's taking his time to rotate, but all I'm doing is cutting him when he rotates.
He's using his turn.
Yeah, he used his
to
turn. Well said.
turn.
Exactly. He used his turn. Okay, that's well said.
Tomo sensei.
Yosh. Some of you are now got the idea of using your forearm, not your hand, but you can't start here. There's not space for one, your elbow's in the way. The other is it brings your shoulders up and jams you, right? It always comes from down here. You want to get there as fast as you can, so you go like this. That's what jams you. Shortest distance between 2 points is what? A circle. So kind of starts from down here. When he pushes, now look what it is. You know, even if your hands are here, you have to say, it has to come down here first and then up and around. Okay? That's a big thing. I'm just seeing everybody do that almost. When he clears my arm, not only does it have to come here, but it has to come here like this, not like this. Okay? Because when you do your drill, isn't your stick like that? And then you turn it over to cut back, right? I don't do the drills like this. Right? I do them. Right? So, 1, you can lay the heart of your hand right on that hollow. And then when you bring it up in that position until you make contact, and then you lower it. That's those drills. The reason is it creates space. So I have to get past his elbow, and I can do that 2 different ways. One is I can create space in the bend of my elbow, and the other is I can throw this down here like this, which relaxes my shoulder. Now when he pushes through, my arm is a lot longer because my shoulder's relaxed. Does that make sense? Okay. So it looks like this. Okay. Just bring that up, wipe the space. Okay.
That creates space, full space.
Notice?
Create space.
Does anybody know the term wood kick? Okay, but it's repetitive striking, basically. It's used in a lot of different ways, but Usually, so if I hit once, that doesn't mean I can't hit again. I hit once. Right? So I might hit you in the hand, hit you in the head. Watch my hand. That's how you can hit that fast. It's identical, isn't it? So I do the drill. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So let's do that drill. Just repetitive striking with one hand, right or left. See? So you're going to use the edge. The edge corresponds to that row of knuckles. So slice. When it gets back here, your palm's up, just like we decided it should be. And then when you want to cut again, it rolls over, which is when you're wiping their face. What we're doing. So, slice, 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 slice. Just keep repeating. You're not going to use your hand any other way. I'm not doing this though. Okay, I'm doing this. Watch my shoulders. Did they rotate? No, because they don't in the drill either, right? Don't do this. Do this. That diagonal always stays the same. There you go. See how you get a little bit of slap with the blade? So slice. Slice. Each time you have to re-index the saddle back that wrist to slice. If you find yourself slapping with the blade, what we're saying, you're not saddle backing your wrist. So when you get here, snap it into a saddle back position. That's how you get a slice. Some of you are doing this, so you're slapping with the side of the blade. Slice, slice, slice.
Does it make a difference whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise?
No, that's the sister drill. Yeah, so you can also.
Clockwise
you
is
can-
easier.
Yeah, it's whatever you used to. Yeah. So we can do forehands, we can also do backhands, we can also practice these coming up. Repeating, or repeat the up. See, here's repeating up, slice, saddle back, slice, saddle back, slice. Okay? All right. That's an important drill, almost always neglected.
We've made sure to neglect it, Sensei.
Well neglected here.
Extended is not expended, one of Master Decker's favorite sayings. Just because you hit them once doesn't mean you can't hit them right away again with the same thing. Or just because you block with your forearm doesn't mean you can't hit them with the corresponding hand at the same time, right? Make sure you try both hands.
Watch these guys, we're famous for not doing that.
No, I didn't see that. I don't care. You know, too hard on that one. The other thing is this. Here's what I'm saying. Don't bring it over to this hip. Just do this. Always stays off this minor center.
Yeah.
That feel good?
Yes, that feels much better. Almost sensei.
Gosh. See, Don, how that's coming over to the other hip. Keep this hand. See, this hand's still in line with that here. It's always right in line with the heart. Right here. Settle that. Settle that. He's gonna, instead of clearing my arm with his forearm, he's gonna grab my wrist, shove my arm against my body, follow me and cut me. That works, right? If I come here, I shove that down like that, tendency is to tense his shoulder and fight that. In the meantime, he's getting poked, right? So this is soft. He goes to grab that. You do pick that at this point. Bring this up, go back into the drill. But I always want to show you how the drill is safe, but when you do it right, it's not for him. So 1, 2, here's what's really happening. I pick it here, break his elbow, and then move. Okay?
Don't move that the other way. They're not.
Sure.
That's important to see because
Yeah.
from last summer to this summer, that made a lot of sense about the picks to me.
Okay. So you slice. Okay. Takes a lot of time, right? So we say 1, 2. Break the elbow, then the hand comes up. Okay. But in the drill, for now, he'll agree that when I do this, he'll let go, so that we keep the drill going. And I don't have to break his elbow. Yeah,
I
that's,
guess I'll agree to that.
on the backhand again, if he grabs my wrist for the purpose of pulling this back and injecting this in here, don't pick it, because now both hands are down. You don't have to pick it. Why don't I have to pick it? Because there's the elbow break back into the drill. Okay.
He's crossed himself at that
He
point.
crossed his center, break his elbow. Take it away. Try that. Do both sides, please. Both sides and forehand and backhand. Yeah, you got the idea on that, right? And you can gig each other for shoulders and your ears and stuff, right? All right. Let's do the takeaways, since it would you a couple takeaways from there. By the way, you have the gutting movements back into the drill, overhand. Yeah. Back into the drill, you've been practicing those. So add that to it, right? When he comes over, why don't I do this? Because you're not allowed to put yourself in techniques, right? It's against school rules. That's a cote. So I might start to do that, but eventually that one will take over. So usually what actually happens is both hands come up. When it turns into a 12, I do that. When it turns into a 1, I do that. Or in between is BL, right? You just got to start canting the body a little. So add those to this. As a matter of fact, let's use those as the takeaways. Okay. So over the top, guide to here, 2. Right. This. I don't know if I should have you doing this right away. It's a little more difficult. The reason is I didn't get a pop on his arm. Let's do backhand, then we'll go to that. Backhand, see? You always say, why do I do that first?
Because it hurts.
Doesn't your attention go there?
Yeah.
When his attention goes there, I can easily snatch the knife. Some of you were doing this today. Okay, just stiffen up. Obviously that doesn't work. Okay. That boom changes the attention. When I hit him here, slow motion, it allows me to snatch that. You get it every time. Once I snatch it, I do this with my body. This goes straight to the grip, just like his hand, and he either lets go or his fingers get broken and I take it out. Never allowed, for any reason, obviously, to run your hand up on the blade. It never touches the metal. Okay? On a 1, same thing. Okay. You guys know those, right? Okay, let me watch. That's how I get it. Not 50% energy in both my arms, right? Right now, angle here. What's going to open those fingers? This?
No.
This?
No.
This?
Yeah.
Okay. This? No. Gripping the knife. Okay. Ignore the knife. Open the fingers. Take the knife. So that angle is very important. I want you to just play with what angle. Now, also I'm not pushing against my own thumb. This is push-pull, you see that? I'm not even gripping, I'm just using the other side of my hand, okay? Okay. 1, 2, push-pull, fingers open, knife comes in. Okay? I didn't grip the knife till the end, right? Otherwise, you cut your own hand. Right? I think that was funny if you knew that you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Right. That's the 10,000, having the 10,000 another one. So unfortunately, there's no shortcut, so you go through all the techniques and there's 10,000 and you go out of your mind, and then you got to name them too and everything else. But you finally come to the realization there's only 100, and then there's only 10, and then you go, wait a minute, you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I can't believe I have not seen that in all this time. So anyway, going back to this, right? Right? See that? Comes in with this pretend knife, see? Yeah. Right? See the motion? Same exact motion. So some of you are doing this, right? Should be here. How do you get it up fast so it's here? Like that? Or like this? Right? Same thing, right? Okay, try it again. It's got to be a circle. Your body, your joints are working a rotary fashion. You try to do a line, all kinds of things have to happen to make that adjustment. It takes too long.
See,